Hi, Dr. Lakshmi. Welcome. So it is a pleasure to
Morning,
have you
Sonia.
all with us. Hello. Good to hear your voice. Thank you for joining. Today's talk benefits Green Shakti. For those of you who are new to Green Shakti,
Thank you.
Green Shakti is based in rural South India. It was founded by Sri Shakti Amanarayani. It is a nonprofit environmental program that grows and plants trees, over 1.8 million to date. It manages 2 tons of waste each day with its zero waste management program, and it educates local school kids in all things Mother Earth. So it's a collective committed to deepening the relationship between people and nature. These talks are by donation, and they will benefit the Sacred Grove project at Sri Narayani Holistic Center. These special medicinal trees will be planted and maintained by Green Shakti workers to create a 16-acre Siddha medicinal forest in South India. We have a list of over 500 native trees, each one of them with medicinal purposes from their flowers and bark and leaves, roots, or wood. Each tree is indigenous to South India, and they will be used for both for education and for medicinal remedies. So I will make sure to put all the information about Green Shakti, where you can donate, in the chat box. It is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Lakshmi Venkatesan. And Dr. Lakshmi is here to talk about mantra. And I will also include all of her information, her website, etc., in the chat box. So I would love to introduce you to Dr. Lakshmi. Dr. Lakshmi has a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery from Madurai Medical College. She's also a Doctor of Homeopathic Medicine, and she's certified in Singapore and the UK. She does Varmam healing, which is Siddha medicine. She has excelled at mantra healing and incorporates a lot of mantra healing, which was taught to her privately by Sri Shakti Amanarayani into 2018. She also has incorporated the use of Bach flower remedies in her healing session. It's for emotional stress for the last 20 years. She's certified in blocked chi healing and also Reiki energy healing. I know that Dr. Lakshmi also taught Art of Living with Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Lakshmi.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Sonia. I'm currently living in the US, and here I'm not allowed to use the doctor title, but I have so many friends and clients across the world who still know me as doctor. So from my perspective, I'm just clarifying that. Thank you very much.
Oh, I appreciate
and thank you for the thank you for all the wonderful introduction.
Thank you. And to me, you are Dr. Lakshmi and have been for many years. So I will continue as you are indeed an incredible and beautiful healer. So, and that's what doctors are, they're extraordinary healers. So today we have the good fortune of talking about mantras. And just so everybody knows, this is the beginning of a series. And once we have all the details on what this series will look like, we will share it with all of you. But it's really an opportunity for us to look at mantras in depth. And today we'll talk about some basics. We'll talk about what is mantra, what is its purpose, how do we use it, why does it work, what are these sacred sounds. But over the period of the next few months, we'll also look at different mantras and bij sounds in more detail so that we can really get a sense of the power of these medicinal sounds. We called this this talk Mantra as Medicine. And that's a very potent title, and that says quite a bit. So why don't we just start with the macro, Dr. Lakshmi? Why don't we start with what is the purpose of mantra? What is mantra? Walk us through.
Mantra is a very vast subject. It's a very deep, deep subject, that word, very profound. And it's a great honor. It's a privilege to talk about such a subject. And it's so vast, I can only share from my knowledge of it. It's much, much more than what I know. It starts from creation. So when we talk about health and healing, it has to go back to us. Who are we? What is it that we are healing? Are we healing the physical body? Are we also our thoughts? Are we also our emotions? Then what are we? What is this life that makes us what we are? It is only this life that keeps this body, this existence of our identity intact as long as there is life. So what is this life? It takes us back to the root source. And if we can spend some time to understand that connection, then it's easier to understand the significance of mantra. Can we spend some time on that?
That would be wonderful. We know that there are these sacred sounds, these mantras, they're part of every religious tradition, whether it's, from the Gregorian chants in Christianity, the Buddhist mantras, the Jewish prayers, mantras from the Quran. So every path understands the significance of these sacred sounds. So we're very excited to learn more about it.
Like you said correctly, it is, the mantras belong to the universe. It is not just one sect or one person or one group. It has come from the universe to all life forms. And with my training, I'm more familiar with the Sanskrit and some of the Tamil mantras, ancient languages, and these have been inculcated into right from childhood, from upbringing. To take us back to the source, what is mantra? We go back to what is this life in us? What is this soul in us? The heart center, which we refer to. If we break up the word mantra, there are various meanings and explanations given by several masters. One of them is it is a tool for the mind. It is something you work through to protect the mind. Are we just the mind? Are we more than the mind? Comes the question. And I'm particularly drawn to Sri Shakti Amma Narayani's expounding of the mantra, the word mantra. Amma says, Man is the manas, the heart. She equates it not, when we say mind, we think of the mind up here. When we say manas, in Sanskrit, we say, if my manas is not doing well, we point here. I'm not feeling well. You don't say I'm not feeling well. It's not a headache, but it is you're not feeling well deep inside here. So that becomes like your heart center, and it's not just the physical heart, it is your soul. You speak from here. You always point to me, it's in this region. And from here, mantra, through the heart, through the soul, we are offering these sounds. Are they just any sounds? Why are they so special? Why are they so sacred? And what makes it that we say it from, offer it through our heart? So what is this soul? There is one life, which is that oneness, that totality, that entire creation, and every one soul comes from that one soul. So that way we all have the same soul from that one source of soul. And what is that soul? It goes by many names: the divine, Shakti, that energy, that soul that pervades the entire creation. It is omnipotent, omnipresent. We can call it by many names. So each religion, sect of path, believers call it by various names. And that Shakti means that energy that pervades everywhere in creation. And she is also called Narayani. She has many, many names. Refer to her as Narayani. And every life form comes from a seed. If you take plants, trees, vegetation, animals, humans, we're all born from the seed. For us, it's the joining of the seed from the sperm and the seed from the ovum, which technically is called Nadam and Bindu in this form of creation. But apart from the technicalities and the usage, seed is what creates us. So if the seed of our soul from our creation is from the Parashakti, our soul is from the Parashakti, it is the seed. Then what is her seed? It is a subtle, unmanifest form. Her seed is the mantra. The whole of creation originates from mantra. That is the source, the core of all creation in the whole universe. The whole universe's base is mantra. So when we are chanting from our soul, which is already from that seed, there are many, many, many mantras. It's said there are like millions and billions of mantras. So which mantra we say, we can come to that later. And when we are chanting the mantra we select or we are given to chant, we are connecting, we are aligning ourselves with our soul and with the whole universe. So when we are aligned, everything falls into place. So already there is rhythm, balance, harmony, all that comes into place just as soon as we start the practice of chanting the mantras. And it is so good because then our thoughts are in alignment, our feelings are in alignment, our speech is in alignment. When our whole system is in alignment, obviously our body will also be healthy. So it becomes the entire medicine for not just the body, a whole being.
That's beautifully put. I wanted to share what you discussed, what you touched upon a little bit in terms of how to talk about mantra and what it means. And this is a part of a discourse from Sri Shakti Amma that talks a little bit about the meaning of mantra. And I loved how you talked about feeling it through your heart. You know, we've learned that those words, mantra, you know, it's through the mind or heart, and it's used interchangeably. So when you think about the word mantra, and we're remembering, you know, both in our heart and in our mind, and the link between the two, that's really the power of it.
Absolutely. When there is in one of the chants. By the way, I just want to clarify, is mantra only meant for people who are in the religious path? There are people who are agnostic, there are people who are atheists. Does it matter? Does mantra even come into their realm of existence? As long as there is this life, mantra is it's related to everyone, and everyone can benefit whether they believe in a God or not. It does not matter, because there is the universe and there is you, and that is enough for you to chant a mantra. Whether you believe in a God or not, it is more from here. But for the life, for the soul, the sound comes from here and it heals here. And we all go through life, we all need healings.
That is a beautiful clarification and very true. And I think it's really important to really underscore that there is a difference between mantra and just sound, right?
Absolutely. Like we are talking, we have
Mhm.
used so many words so far, and it helps to communicate. It helps our mind, our body, those sounds help in the communication, our existence day to day, going through life. But when we say mantra, that sound has come from the source, so it touches the source. It goes deep into the soul. It awakens the soul. It nourishes the soul. It energizes the soul, Atma. So it nourishes the body, it nourishes the mind, it nourishes the Atma. Not all words we use nourish the Atma, and mantras specifically reach the soul. That is the speciality of mantra.
So you mentioned that there are millions upon millions of mantras. And I know this is, a confusing territory for some, because where does one start and how does one choose a mantra? Or do you get chosen to say a mantra? And where do we get a mantra from? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yes, there are so many mantras. Once you come to understand there is mantras, so what do I do about it? Which should I use? For some of us, we grew up with that. So we've been from childhood exposed to certain mantras, and it is been charging us, energizing us. So it's already become part of our usage. We are very familiar with what we say and use. For someone who is very new to mantra, even though it has become a usage in day-to-day language, a mantra is that the essence of something, if you go into something and that term is referred to as mantra. So it's come to regular usage, that mantra word. But when we are going to the sound of the mantra as a practice and its benefits, there are mantras that are general, anyone can say. And there are some that are like Om. Om is like, it's called Pranavam. It is the first sound that came about in creation. Many religions have Om in variations. Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, they have it as Om, in Amen, Amin. They're all, the root is the same, comes from that source. And Om by itself can be talked upon to great length. Each sound, akaram, ukaram, makaram. If you say that, each has its depth, the syllable. You break it into the beach mantra of Om, and each beach has such great extension and how it affects. But without going into all those scholarly details, you can just chant Om, and that goes deep. Many times there are other mantras that are used, like I'm so familiar with Om Namo Narayani. And what does that mean? Om, that primordial energy, that source. Namo, I bow down, I surrender to Narayani. Narayani, we are saying, is the Parashakti, the totality of creation. And we call her the cosmic mother, the primordial mother. Why do we call the universe as mother? Mother is something, when something is born out of something, that is called the mother, right? A mother gives birth to whatever is born. And if the whole universe is born out of her, then the whole universe becomes her child. So each one of us become a child. So it's like a child surrendering to the totality of the creation, the mother, the universe.
Mm.
In life, there is no hard and fast in the path one is seeking, if one is seeking. There are so many it is basically to do with love. So the universe is love, the mother is love, everything in creation is manifested out of love, it exists in love. And the love could be from a child to a mother, it could be from a mother to a child, it could be a love to a beloved, a love to a friend, to a pet, to a tree, a flower, it could be anything in creation. But what is the crux is the love itself. So when we chant these mantras, Om Namo Narayani, I surrender to that cosmic totality, the universe. There's another very often used and very sacred mantra called the Om Namashibaya. And we will be talking a bit more about it in the series because it brings us to the health and the manifestation, the chakras, which are some of the things we will be touching on in these sessions. So what is this Namah Shivaya? These are the 5 syllables and these are Bij. Bij means seed. So these are the seed mantras of what? So when we talk of the Parashakti, this energy is formless. There is no form to this energy. And when we chant a mantra, then that particular mantra's energy gives rise to that form. So there are trillions and zillions of creation, and each manifestation has a specific mantra for it that manifested it.
Dr.
Like
Lakshmi, where do we get a mantra from? So as you mentioned, you could just chant Om and receive profound benefits from just chanting that primordial sound. You've already mentioned a few mantras, but it's not just reciting a mantra from a book or from the internet. What is the significance of receiving a mantra from a guru? Maybe you can touch upon that a little bit.
we can pick up Om, we can pick up Om Namo Narayani, we can pick up Om Namashibaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. In the Buddhists, they have Om Mani Padme Hum, and there are so many in all the religions. You could be even chanting Om for many years, but when you receive that Om itself from a master, enlightened master, a guru, it has a far greater depth because it is given from a life. The life is infused into the mantra and you're receiving it with the life to infuse into your soul. So even the same mantra you could have been chanting for many years, when that same mantra is received from a guru, it is so potentized. And it is very customized. When a guru, an enlightened master gives you a mantra, it is specifically what you need for yourself in your life. And that the enlightened master knows. When we pick up from internet, we don't know. We are drawn to so many mantras. We say some for some time, then we are drawn to another, we go to another.
Yes.
When we receive from a guru, it is the seed that is going to grow and manifest in you. Bring that energy into you for that manifestation. And that is so sacred in that sense. It is like your core has been fixed on this specific mantra for you to chant on, because you could dilute your efforts in chanting many mantras. It's possible. Some derive joy from that, and that is fine. But if you have received a specific mantra initiation, then it has been given specifically for you to spend more time on to chant.
So today we want to talk about the chakra mantra. And this is something that we're going to learn together. I want to ask you, why this particular mantra? Why are we starting with this? And of course, if you could take us through chakras and what they mean. There's a lot of information about chakras, but we would love to hear a clarification from you and an in-depth understanding of what these energy centers are. So why don't we start with this particular mantra and tell us why you chose this to begin the series.
Yes, thank you. We talked about mantra and as medicine, and that led to this. There are many mantras for healing, and this specific one came up because it relates when the cosmic energy is totally unmanifest. When it starts condensing, it forms the manifestation in the preliminary first stage. It becomes the Shakti manifests as Panchabhutas. What that means is the 5 elements of whole creation. Entire creation in the universe, you, me, animate, inanimate, all elements, everything is manifested from the Panchabhutas, which are the earth, water, fire, air, and space. And they have their seed mantras. And if we are looking at that, Namashibaya, one of the great sacred mantras, it's called Panchakshari. Yes, if we look in the Nam on the one side, not when we start from Nam Lam, the Nam and below Nam, Mam, Sim, Vam, Yam, Shiva is Namashivaya. If you look at it, that itself forms the Namashivaya mantra. It is incorporated in that. And so the whole universe is all Namashivaya, the manifestation of the Panchabhutas. And some of us know about chakras. There may be some who don't know what this chakra is. Many people are exposed to think of themselves, they identify themselves as the body. But beyond the body, we are also energy body. And for those who don't know, what is this energy body? There are some photographies like Kirlian photography that was taken several decades ago by a Russian scientist, which captures aura with all the different colors in us. And it captures, there are newer instruments that have come in. I know from the Middle Eastern and the Russian region. I don't have the specific name of those equipments, but they capture photographs of the body with the chakra colors in them. So it is not just something created. Now there are apparatuses that can show that we are more than the physical body. And these are referred to as our energy body. And what is this energy body? And that brings us to chakras. People who have been doing yoga, yoga teachers, and others in the spiritual path, many of us would be familiar with chakras. And there are the 7 main ones. It is said that 6 of them are in our physical realm. The 7th, the topmost, is slightly above our head. It's in the auric field, but not in the physical realm. So what are these chakras? The base chakra, the root chakra is called Mooladhara. And we will go into greater depths in the coming sessions. And the second one is the Swadhisthana or the sacral chakra. And the third chakra is the Manipura, which is the solar plexus navel region. Anahata is the heart region, heart chakra. Vishuddha or Vishuddhi is the throat region. Agnya is the brow chakra, forehead chakra, and the Sahasrara is up there. And what are these chakras? These are energies, whirling wheels, they are called, or vortices of energy within each one of us. Every life form has it. And it is said that man has the highest evolution in these chakras. When you look evolutionary, in the evolutionary scale, the lower evolved animals may have just the Mooladhara developed in them. Some might have the Swadhisthana as well. And there is a saying in Tamil, Aru Arivu Padaitha Manidan. Man has 6 evolved intelligences. Each chakra gives a potential to develop each type of intelligence within us as we evolve. Man has the fullest capacity up to the Ajna with the potential to evolve up to the Sahasrara. And when we reach the Sahasrara, we have completely united with the source, that Adi Parashakti, the totality of the creation, the divinity itself, the creation. So in the evolutionary path, each chakra affects our well-being, even our diseases, our sickness. When the chakras are not functioning well, it indicates illness. And when they are functioning well, it indicates health. And there are many more details and depth to them. And when we go through these vortices of energy, they also have Bij mantras. Each chakra has an energy that's swirling in it, and that energy has various manifestations to it, and they have their beat sounds. And that's great depth to each of them. When we look at the Mooladhara, can we go back to the Nam Lung?
Sure.
So we look on the other side, we saw the Nam Mam Sim Vam Yam Shiva comes under the manifestation of Namashibaya, the Panchabhutas in the universe. When we look at Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Om, these are the Bij mantras of an indicated for Lam for Mooladhara, Vam for the Swadhisthana, Ram for the Manipura, Yam for the Anahata, the heart, Ham for the throat, the Vishuddhi, Om for the Ajna, the eyebrows. So we are going into the Bij mantras of the chakras as well. So when we are chanting the Bij mantras of the Panchabhutas and the Bij mantras associated with our chakras, we are aligning right from the source. The alignment comes in of all the energies, and the mantras bring their wealth of their energies and balance and their benefits to our whole existence. And these chakras, from there, the energies radiate, are channelized to all our organs in the body, the tissues, cells. So they receive these energies that keep them nourished and healthy. So that was one of the main reasons we took up this mantra, even though there are other healing mantras. This goes back to the basic, and you don't even have to, as long as you have the universe and you, anyone can chant this. It is open to everyone, and Sri Shakti Amma Narayani has given us this mantra to all of us, and it is a very great blessing. Such mantras are not come upon that easily, and to receive it from the source itself, Narayani herself from the source, it is a great blessing that we have Narayani herself here to give us these mantras. So we are receiving the mantras from the source. We are chanting it for our healings.
That's really beautiful. And I think you're quite right. What an incredible way to start. What a holistic way to start, right? So we're going to work on every single chakra, essentially align it, make sure that it's in balance. So I wonder, and we'll certainly put the recording into the chat box where you could hear this. We'd love to hear you chant it a few times, Dr. Lakshmi, so we can hear the music. And then maybe you can tell us how we work with this particular chant.
Do you want me to do the chanting now?
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
I would like to start with Om Namo Narayani few times, because I see the totality of creation for myself as the cosmic mother and as a child. So when a mother does something, a child does something to the mother, offers to the mother, whatever faults or anything is there, the mother clears all that and she just takes the love. So it is said mantras have to be said specifically. There are so many stipulations for saying the mantras correctly, all that. But for me, when I say Om Namo Narayani, I've surrendered to the cosmic mother. If there are any mistakes or anything, she will take care of it all. So I say that for everything, not just this mantra. It is, it's like some people pray to Ganesha to start something. I say Om Namo Narayani. So Mother, you take care of everything. Now I'll do what I can do, but the rest is all up to you. Yeah, you take care.
Beautiful. That sounds great.
So I'll chant Om Namo Narayani 3 times, and then we will, I'll chant this a few times. And before going into it, there are different meters or timings to mantras. That is a big subject in itself. I personally have chosen something very slow because it helps to settle the mind. Most of us come from a very active work day, or we are going to start a very active day and our mind is already racing on things to do, or we come to bed to sleep and we are like, mind is still racing. When we go into a slow chant, it settles the mind and it settles into you, and it calms you to yourself. You come to yourself. That is aligning with yourself. So I prefer the slower chant of it. Shiva Swaha Nam Lam Mam Vam Simram Vam Yam Yam Ham Shiva Swaha.
Well, thank you so much. That was, as you say, very potent, very beautiful and very potent. And I wonder, what is your recommendation for all of us listening? How do we work with this mantra? And is this something that we should do daily?
Definitely, yes. You can notice after we've chanted, our energy is more settled. We are so calm. We don't come out so boisterous like we did before. We are
Yes, for sure.
in that calm state. And when we make decisions or we go through our daily, whatever activities we have to do, when we come from that calm state, our decisions will be better, our actions will be better, our speech will be better. If anything that comes to disturb us comes in, the calmness will settle us, will ward it off much more easily than if we were caught up in the daily activities of life. So this is a mantra, even though it can be said anytime, um, it could be running in the back of your mind as well. One thing about mantra is when you're drawn to a mantra, you take up a mantra, you make it yours. It is not something out there. It becomes part of you. It is yours.
Mm.
So it's like you take ownership of it because it is life. That itself has life. You have life. It's like I'm having a relationship, talking to you, a friendship like that. Develop a relationship to each mantra that you are using, taking up. It is that potent and powerful. And when we take that, we develop a devotion to it, an attachment to that sacred sound. And we are offering it from our heart to the universe. If that is not possible, each one's coming from a state of different perspectives, and all perspectives are fine. There's no right or wrong. Um, if we can come from the space of love, devotion, that is the best, but it may not be possible easy until someone wants it. That intention has to be there, and with practice, it can come. Even those who have the intention, the mind keeps coming inside the mantra and the wanders away. So, ideally, if we can offer from our heart the sound of the mantra, it is good. But if that is not possible, just merge into the sound and offer it. As you're chanting, be with the mantra, be merged in the sound of the mantra.
So this
And
mantra, from what I understand, should not be chanted for longer than a certain amount of time. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is there a time limit for this mantra?
one moment. Yes, I'll come to that, but can I complete what I was saying about the chanting method?
Of course.
Some people may find that their mind wanders still and they may not be able to merge into the word because they come from a very thinking perspective. Then you can just concentrate on the sound of the mantra. If you can't merge into the mantra, just listen to the mantra. You are chanting it, you become a listener to your own chant. All these methods is to keep you with the mantra while you're chanting, so the mind, otherwise the mind keeps wandering, and it'll still wander till we do it regularly. With practice, the mind becomes still and focused with the mantra. And in the process, it will also help us to become focused in other activities of life, because the habit of the mind wandering away becomes less and less and settled when we take up the mantras. And about the length of the mantra, again, it depends on the individual, depending on the capacity of the individual. Some people can chant longer. Some people, even after a few minutes, may start feeling restless. If you're beginning to feel restless, you can stop there. And as you keep doing it on a daily basis, you will be able to chant longer periods of time. Even the few minutes can become 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Ideally, Amma says if you, first thing she recommends is you shower and then you come to your altar. If you have a sacred place at home, an altar, sit there and chant your mantra for 10, 15 minutes every day in the morning before you start your day's work. And traditionally, in many South Indian families, because that's what I'm familiar with, there is a practice also in the evenings to come and to the altar and chant. So mornings and evenings. For people with different lifestyles, you can also start the chant while you're getting out of bed. Your mind is still in that state of stillness. You chant, and then you can chant again before going to bed to end the day with that. Again, it varies with individuals. For some people, it may be very soothing, calming. For some people, it may be very energizing. And for the same person, some days it may be very relaxing, calming, ready to go to sleep. Some days it can be very energizing. They may not be able to go to sleep because it's energized them so much. Because we are dynamic beings, our states are changing each day. So go by what is your system can take it. If you're feeling restless, it is good to stop by that time.
So we have a few minutes, and I encourage everyone, if you have any questions for Dr. Lakshmi, please type them into the chat box. I think this is an incredible way to begin this series, to really start delving into, like, as you said, Dr. Lakshmi, this absolutely vast and fascinating subject. And we're so privileged to work with you and to have the opportunity to go deeper. This is the first session and still an overview and an introduction. But I know that for many people, one of the first questions that come up is whether to chant out loud or whether to chant silently within. What is your view vis-a-vis this particular mantra?
There are both ways of doing it. For a restless mind, it is good to chant aloud because that itself becomes an action. And the whole purpose is to connect with yourself. And as you connect with yourself, you're energizing your soul in the process with these sounds of these sacred mantras. And you're radiating this energy to your surroundings, your ambience, your altar, your home. And when you go out, you're still radiating, carrying that energy. So chanting aloud radiates it more to the environment. But if you become as you practice more and you start feeling the stillness more and more within you and the mind settles down, chanting aloud may be itself too noisy for you at that time. For some people, they need it to settle the mind. Even for the same person, some days our minds are so chatty, you need the loud sound to still and come centered. Some days we are so still And any noise, even a mantra out there, could be an impingement on the stillness inside. And you might want to continue the chant in that stillness, in the silence inside. And both are okay with each person. And for a beginner, it is good to chant aloud because it inculcates that habit and that practice, and you start enjoying the mantra as you keep hearing it. And it instills that attachment to it more when you keep saying it aloud.
Dr. Lakshmi, we have a question from Margot. Sometimes she can recite this particular mantra for quite a long time, and sometimes, honestly, 2 minutes is very difficult. So
2 minutes is very difficult.
Well, it depends. So sometimes she can chant it for a long period of time. Sometimes 2 minutes feels, like a Herculean task. Is there an explanation? And her question is ultimately, when it is difficult, should she continue or not?
Good question, which is again comes back to everything is out of love. Our existence, our soul is born of that one soul, which is pure manifestation of love, the whole of creation. And these mantras are bringing us back to that state of that peace, love, harmony. The soul is the divine within each one of us. That's why we honor life everywhere. We honor life because it is the divine within each living life form. And when we do that, it is from a state of the being of love. So if there is a resistance or it's difficult, it may be good to be gentle with yourself and maybe take it up few hours later or some other time of the day or those few days. If this is difficult, then go back to Om Namo Narayani or some other thing which is, because these are so powerful. These each bij mantras is going and working in each chakra, and they are like decluttering tremendously. There's only so much you can take. Even in healings, when detox happen, you can feel so beat up and tired of a healing session. You can feel energized. It can vary with the session. Same with the mantras. Some days, if you sit in a fire puja, a yagam, you can come up feeling like you've done a Herculean task that day, even though you were just sitting there and listening. You have been absorbing these sacred sounds and they are going into your system and they are clearing out so many things. A lot of work is happening. If you're feeling tired, restless, take the cue and be gentle with yourself and maybe switch to something like Om Namo Narayani, which is all encompassing, soothing, and you surrender to the totality. This one drives its work inside each chakra. You're aligning with the Panchabhutas. There's a lot of lots happening in these, yeah.
So, Dr. Lakshmi, if we take, your healing as an example, sometimes people will come to you and you might hypothetically say, okay, your solar plexus chakra is not working well, or you need more energy in your root chakra. So do you then recommend taking these bij sounds and focusing on them depending on which chakra needs a little bit more support? And you would really only know that if you went to, a practitioner who maybe would point that out, if you yourself don't have that strong awareness of your own energy centers. What do you recommend in that case, if we're treating this as medicinal?
One thing it is important to remember is we take time to fall sick. It builds up. At the same time, we should realize that we need the time to come out of it. You don't instant say, now I have to be out of it right now. Give the body the time to adjust. And it may not be just the body, it could be stored stresses emotional stresses, mental stresses, and these have to be worked through. So if it is this mantra, if it is being chanted on a daily basis, it is already doing its work of bringing in the alignment and balance on a daily basis. So when you start doing it on a daily basis, initially it may be difficult, but after a while, it is already clearing over a period of time. Today, your solar plexus may need more healing, but still you're incorporating all of them. So as a routine, it is balancing all of them on a daily basis. So this will cover a whole lot when we make it a daily practice. You don't have to go into specifically one. The specific one anyway gets healed along with the whole when we are covering all of this. When we are specifically going through the sessions of healing, and again, Amma has given those, we've done the Connect with the Divine retreat. Amma has given us specific healing mantras to heal at various depths. So the intention of the healer and what the client needs at that time, it's a customized at that moment's need that happens in the healing session. So it's a very dynamic and customized moment. And sometimes certain people, when we look in the chakras, they may have some chronic conditions which may be the imbalance in the chakra. And then we can delve into to explore why is it in that chronic state of depleted state or in a state of imbalance. And when we explore, it could be various causes that can come up, and those can be addressed too. Sometimes it's like, it's not like giving a meal each time it is needed, but going deep inside to say, okay, now that has to be cleared, so you know how to heal it yourself. And there could be deeper causes. Sometimes it's from this life, past life, inherited tendencies, conditions. So there are various depths to it. And for people who don't believe in past births and other things, well, at least there is the inherited tendencies, the genetic tendencies that is still can have its role. There are many factors, yeah.
So Sarah has I think an important question that's on many of our minds. So if we're already chanting several other mantras, is it possible to overdo by adding one more, or is more better?
It is a very customized answer again, because when an enlightened master gives a mantra to a devotee, a disciple, it is given with the intention of the master knows your past, your future, where you're heading, what is needed for you, greater than what we know from our intellect and what we understand of ourselves. There is a deeper meaning to this. And that mantra is like the core mantra. If you've received a mantra, don't take it lightly. It is like the center core of your mantra practice. There can be other mantras you can include, but don't get distracted from that. That should be the core practice. But if you're really drawn to a mantra, it is again a soul calling for you. You're drawn to it. Be by all means use it, because there is no stipulations. It's not compartmentalized. But if you go into the path, you may be on one path, you've progressed so far, and something may be like starting a whole new different path. So it's like starting from afresh. So those are things enlightened master will know to guide what to do, what to take up. But this mantras like Om Namashibaya, Om Namo Narayani, Om Narayanaya, Om, there are so many of these that anyone can pick up and chant. And these, if you're drawn to, by all means, yeah, chant these. But there are the mantras, we can keep talking more in the other sessions as well. Mantras can't be just an introduction. There can be more questions on mantras you can ask in other sessions as well. There are mantras, then you go back to the creation, protection, dissolution of the whole process of existence. And there are mantras for each of these, and there are many mantras for each categories. And there could be sing songs as hymns. There could be beej mantras. There are so many sacred texts. People just try to master one sacred text with so many verses in one lifetime. And there are zillions of them, so many of them. Just to master one, to go into the depth of one mantra, the mantras of one text alone may not be even enough for one lifetime. So it's a huge, vast topic, and I know only so much. There are people who know so much, and there is so much more to this topic on mantra.
Well, you brought us a little bit closer to getting this far at the very least. Thank you so much. It's hard to believe that an hour has passed with you, Dr. Lakshmi. This was absolutely enlightening and exciting, not only because even just thinking about what you said, how all of creation comes from mantra, and we are really one soul, and what a way to get us all going on a healing journey. By aligning our chakras, we have this incredible opportunity. So if you want to hear the recording of this mantra, it is in the chat box. There is a link to SoundCloud, so that you can listen again to this beautiful mantra. And what I would like to do is also put your website into the chat box if people want to look at your website, Dr. Lakshmi. There it is. So what an incredible beginning.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia. Yes, I didn't realize 1 hour went by. There's so much that being said, so much more that can be asked. And
Yes.
there's such a joy to share what little I know about mantras. And it is truly a privilege, because to talk, it needs a certain capacity to talk about mantras, and it's an honor to come into that realm, to even to share about such a sacred, deep topic. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi. Again, this talk is to benefit Green Sakthi for a sacred medicinal grove at the Sri Narayani Holistic Center, where we will plant medicinal trees that will educate and heal.
A note on that, yes, this is something very close to my heart, Green Sakthi and the medicinal grove. In fact, there are mantras when you are preparing medicine. There are mantras to chant when you're plucking a flower, when you're taking something you're taking from life, from a tree. It is honoring that. There are mantras to say that. And from all of this, when instead of, if you want to look at all the mantras, it can be so many. And the simplest for me is Om Namo Narayani. From this life to this life, I'm taking this to prepare this and honor it, to give it to another life. So it blends with that sacred mantra. The whole process is blended with not just the trees absorb the mantras from nature, from us, and it's going in to heal someone as well. So it's really a beautiful cause, wonderful cause.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi. Thank you, everyone. We will keep you posted as to when the next of the series will take place. But I can't tell you how I am personally excited, and I've learned so much today. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi, for so beautifully, eloquently, and generously sharing of your wisdom. And we look forward to delving in even more into this incredibly blessed topic. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful day.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Everyone. Yes, thank you.